The Elite brand, of course.
All right, my name's Brad Lyons. I'm the field training manager for Sharp Electronics. And the number one question I always get is, why is there a Sharp guy talking about an Elite television? It's a story to start off with here. What this is kind of a collaboration or a partnership between us and Pioneer. The whole thought process behind this TV was making the best TV in the world. That was the goal. So what we did was we put a whole bunch of engineers into a room and said, create the best TV in the world. The reference television we used was the Pioneer Elite Pro from about 3 or 4 years ago. I think everyone in this room would still say that's one of the reference TVs, even though they stopped making it 4 years ago.
No question.
Okay, so a great input there. And our goal was to create a TV as good, if not better, otherwise we're not even going to release it. This TV took about 2.5 years to create, so it's not something we just got in a room and created it really quick. We also didn't give our engineers a budget, which is a very scary thing to do for engineers because they'll go crazy with money. We said we'd figure out the price on the back end and then come out with a television if it was as good as that Pioneer Elite Pro from a couple years ago. A couple different reviews that have seen this particular television. We're also kind of the dinosaur here as far as what's up on the wall because we've been out for roughly 8 months now. So this is the exact same television that happened to win this particular trophy here from last year. So we were #1 HDTV Shootout last year. And as Robert said, the first LED to ever win the competition. So we're very excited that we got a chance to get this trophy, and we certainly hope we have a chance of getting it again this year. And that'll be obviously all up to you guys, which makes it so exciting. Moving along, this right here is the brains behind this particular television. It's called Intelligent Variable Contrast. This is the brains of the engine that control everything. And this is what makes it unique to Sharp, and it makes it unique to any other television in the world. Other Sharp product will not have this engine at all. So again, this is very unique to this particular television. And as you can see, there'll be a couple of influences from Sharp, such as RGB plus Y. What that is very similar to a Quatron type technology, but it's actually been enhanced and made better for this particular TV. The way I explain this to customers as simple as possible is by adding an additional yellow subpixel, we can broaden the overall color spectrum. I'll ask the customer a question. If I give you the option of painting a picture with 3 colors or 4 colors, which would you choose? The obvious answer there is 4. Why? Because I have yellow and mix it. If I take that yellow color and mix it with red, green, and blue, I can now broaden my overall color spectrum. The other example I like to give is in the print world. Printers, low-end printers have how many colors? 3. High-end printers and industrial printers
12.
go all the way up to, in some cases, even 12. Do you really? Okay.
My printer.
So the reason why they do that is pretty simple. It's to accurately recreate the image that it originally got. And that's the concept we're trying to do here with this particular panel. The problem is, on a TV basis, it's a lot harder to do. With printers, you add an ink color and change mathematical algorithms. With a television, you have to add an additional 2 million dots to the screen. So with this particular TV here, you're looking at roughly 8 million dots to create the overall image versus anything else on the wall will be around 6 million. Very simple math. It's still 1920 by 1080, so it's still a 1080p television. With this, we have red, green, blue with all of the competition here. So you multiply that 2 million by 3, that'll be 6 million dots to create the image. This particular TV here will have red, green, blue, and yellow, so you multiply it by 4. That's now 8 million dots to create the overall image. The other advantage of Precision Color Plus means we have the capability of controlling each and every one of those 8 million dots. So when you're dealing with curved text and especially diagonal lines, you're not going to get as much of that stair-step effect, especially when you're dealing with the overall high-end type of Blu-ray discs. All the stuff down here is also unique to this particular panel, the first being the X-Gen panel. So this particular panel is coming out of Sakai, Japan, in our 10th generation manufacturing facility. It is the most advanced LCD manufacturing facility in the world. And when I say 10th generation, all that means is larger and larger mother glass. The way LCDs are basically made is it's stamped out like a puzzle. The larger the mother glass, the larger the television you can make. The least amount of waste you have, the more you can control price of the actual television. A couple people have also asked me, why did we not go with plasma when coming out with this particular product? Again, it's Pioneer and Sharp together. Pioneer no longer has the ability to make plasma televisions. We make exceptional LED and LCD product. Now, if we wanted to stick with the plasma technology, we would then have to outsource our panels. We would have to go to our friends at Panasonic or our friends at Samsung as an example and say, can we buy your panels? I don't know any company in the world that would sell their best product to their competitors. All right, so it's very difficult for us to control overall quality and that kind of stuff, so we definitely stuck with the LED technology. And from a lot of what they're saying about this particular TV, we think it was the right choice overall. Also, with that X-Gen manufacturing facility, the Elite panel is literally hand-picked off of the line. Only the top 5% of the panels being produced out of that facility even have a chance of getting the Pioneer or the Elite sticker on that particular panel. As you can see, we also changed the liquid crystal technology itself, and we actually made the crystals smaller, softer, thinner, and faster. And simply put, what we can do with this particular panel is direct light even more minutely than a local dimming TV is capable of doing. But we've also added full array with this particular LED and local dimming. So what we've done is run LEDs along the entire back of the screen. And what this does is help out dramatically with brightness and color and even darkness uniformity. So you don't have any hot spots or cold spots that some of the other LED type televisions will suffer from. With local dimming then, as we talked about earlier, you can actually shut off the LEDs behind the areas that are actually dark. That will help out dramatically with overall contrast on this particular TV. Overall contrast numbers are quite exceptional, especially for an LCD LED type product. And then fluid motion, all that means is we simply do a couple of different ways of making the actual motion of the television significantly better. We have 120 hertz low, 120 hertz high, and then fluid motion 240. Generally speaking, we like to test our stuff in 120 hertz low, and that typically reacts the best overall for processing. This is a slide here I like to play around with. Hopefully I can find the
lights down for this, please.
The Elite remote. If I can do this blind, we'll see what happens. You grab the remote control. I'm going to get out of their picture settings because I don't want to mess up their calibrated modes after hours and hours of work. So we'll go ahead and put this into
The next specs,
Okay, there we go. So we'll do the THX certified movie mode. We'll go into our local dimming on, and this is the intelligent variable contrast aspect of the television. This particular image is a very, very difficult image to be able to show on any LED television, and that's why we're particularly using it. As I mentioned before, it's very difficult to have a line similar to this here, because it's a very, very bright area, and it has some very dark areas directly around it. So for being able to control it with just a local dimming TV, you're going to see significant haloing around that light bulb. On this particular television, you're not going to have that issue at all. Now I'm going to walk up this spectrum as well. The other ability we have to do is move power to different areas of the screen. So we'll be able to intensify the powers that are, or the LEDs behind there that need to be bright, and keep the darks very dark. So as I walk up this ladder, as you can see, what's happening with the light bulb? It's getting brighter. It's getting brighter. What's happening to the block level? Staying the exact same.
A little higher. I know I have one at home.
All right, well,
But not significant.
not significant.
No, not
and measured by equipment properly, you're not going to see much of a variation at all.
It's really actually your perception of the black that's going up, because I don't think black is changing.
Yeah, if you actually do test
No,
the equipment, it's going to be the exact same.
But right around the bright characters, you notice that there's a halo around those.
Yeah, and once you start going a little bit higher up that spectrum, you do start getting a slight image there. So in a perfectly black room, I like to have the intelligent variable contrast on low. You can also then go to even lower if you would like. Why you would ever turn local dimming off on this television, I have no idea. You have the ability to do that to show you what most of the LEDs in the industry are going to look like. And obviously now you're going to be able to take a look at the image, and your black levels are now gray levels, or even blue levels, depending on what you want to call it. Go back to that local dimming on, and you'll see the dramatic difference of that particular image. So, quite impressive. We move on to another image. This is one of my favorite images that I've been able to find. It's a light post. Now, it almost looks like I have a dimmer switch for this particular light post. And as I walk up the spectrum, it's going to seem like I'm actually turning the light of the light post up. And you'll see the overall detail around that light post even increase because of the ability of this intelligent variable contrast. So a very cool thing to be able to show customer and be able to show control.
Quick question, that's right?
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that these advanced settings here, is this doing any kind of contrast stretching in the video processing side, or is it just increasing the light output of the LEDs behind that particular part?
Just the LEDs.
Just the
Just
LEDs.
LEDs.
So it's
Alright, so a very easy thing to be able to show your customer very quickly and show the advanced ability of this particular LED versus anything else in the world. You can go ahead and turn the lights back on. 3D functionality of the 3D television out of the box. It does come with 2 pairs of glasses. A couple of things I do like to mention will be your 2D to 3D conversion. All you have to do is grab the remote, hit the 3D button, and we'll select that 3D mode. You can go 2D to 3D on any content you're sending through the television, including, as an example, computer, or streaming video, or USB drive. So now you're actually able to watch this particular television in 3D. If I go to that C slider switch, I can adjust my intensity level of that 2D to 3D conversion. So I can go all the way up to plus 16, and as you can see, it's dividing with the left and the right IC pretty significantly. That'll give a better perception of overall depth when you're doing a 2D to 3D enhancement. If you're running content that's not quite as good, you can go down to, let's say, a plus 5, and it'll still have a decent effect overall, but it's not going to be as significant. On the glasses themselves, we also have a 2D to 3D switch. What that means is, if I put it in 2D, you can watch in 2D, and then 3D, he can watch in 3D on same TV at the same time. So any of those customers out there that have eye strain or viewer fatigue or headaches, and everyone in the room is watching 3D, all they have to do is move that slider switch down to 2D, and they can enjoy the picture in 2D while the rest of the people watch in 3D. It's one of the few manufacturers in the world that have that particular capability. Just something I like to bring up.
Is it still dimmer though?
What's that?
Is it dimmer?
No, that's with the brightness boost.
No.
It's going to bring up that brightness, and it tests anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times brighter than most of other manufacturers' 3D. In fact, Home Theater Magazine said it's one of the best 3D experiences they've ever had at home. So a very cool thing to be able to bring up there. And that yellow subpixel allows us to make it extremely bright if we need it to be. With active shutter glasses, you're basically putting on sunglasses when you're watching television, so that extra brightness is very important. It's a great TV to be able to sell in any room with any ambient light issues at all. The overall brightness can be quite significant. It is a smart TV as well, Wi-Fi out of the box. We'll go into the apps here real quick. All the usual suspects will be right along the edge here. The one I like to bring up the most is Elite Advantage Live. It makes it very difficult to see in 3D mode. I'm going to go ahead and take it out in 3D mode.
You're trying to get extra points.
All right. As you can see, Elite Advantage Live, we'll go to that one more time. I'll go backwards to make it quicker, but Elite Advantage Live will be right there. If you go ahead and select that, the TV will pull up a menu. You can get page for page the user guide if you'd like on that menu, or you can go to something called Live Support. When you go to Live Support, the TV will then pull up a 1-800 number and a connection number for the television. When you call that 1-800 number, a human being will pick up the phone in the Chicago, Illinois area. So customer service is based right here in the U.S. They will then ask for the connection number. When you give them the connection number, they then can remotely access your TV through the internet. And anything that I can do with this remote control standing here, they can do from Chicago, Illinois. A huge advantage to the customer.
That's scary. Like I said yesterday, thank God the ISF loads are not.
The one thing that's great about it, though, is it's great to mention to the customers that don't know a heck of a lot about televisions. In this particular room, this is not a huge selling point because you guys know a heck of a lot about TVs. But if you're selling to the normal population out there, almost 95% of the people will really appreciate this type of a thing. As an example, if I happen to sit on the remote control and I have no idea why it went to snow, the only thing I need to know is how to get to Elite Advantage Live. And we can walk through that issue. And I know Robert, the dealer here, how many times do your TVs get blamed by the cable companies that there's something wrong with the TVs? Almost every single thing the cable company will say is there's something wrong with your television. More than likely, it's 1 out of 10, if that the TV is actually bad. So we can go in here and actually find out the signal strength of the cable coming in as well. Kind of a cool advantage there. Again, available for the life of the television. We're the only manufacturer in the world that's doing that right now. A couple of things to mention in this particular TV. It is THX certified in 2D and 3D mode. ISF calibration, we have a hidden page specifically for the custom installers to be able to play around with the ISF settings. We mentioned our AV modes are actually quite extensive. If you go in here, you'll be able to notice all of these different modes. Elite Pure was actually, this TV was given to Pioneer in allowing them to do whatever they wanted with the settings. These are the settings they come up to mimic that Elite Pro from 3 or 4 years ago. THX certified, as we mentioned. We also have the scorch and torch modes that I don't think anyone would ever want to use. But we do have that dynamic fixed, as you can see. And then ISF day and ISF night. I think you guys customized it for ISF night for this competition, so we're going to go ahead and leave it there. But again, all the control functionality you'll possibly need, 5 HDMIs, 2 USB ports as well. The glasses come with a USB cable. You can plug it into the back of the TV and actually charge the glasses while the TV is on, which is pretty cool. RS-232, which is kind of the legacy input, but still fully available for this TV.
It's actually necessary for implementing control counts ISF.
Oh wow, okay. All right. We certainly hope to keep that.
No, you can go.
connection.
You can go.
network.
Network.
Oh, okay.
It works. He's got that going too.
A couple of great accolades we've gotten over the year that this TV has been out. Home Theater Magazine said it is the best flat panel television they have ever reviewed. They had it side by side, the Pioneer Elite Pro from 3 years ago, and they said this particular television, in their opinion, beat it by just a hair. But that's still a heck of a compliment coming from a great trade magazine overall and a very good reviewer. CNET said this is the best TV they reviewed since 2008. That also is quite a huge compliment. The TV he was referring to there was, again, the Pioneer Elite Pro. Sound and Vision obviously certified it and recommended it as well. Something that we're also incredibly proud of is winning the shootout from last year, the HDTV Shootout, and we actually have the trophy in our corporate headquarters in the first room you walk into. So it's something we do take a lot of pride in overall. There are a couple of the other accolades. I think PC Magazine gave us an editor's choice as well, and Home Theater Magazine also top pick of the year for this particular television. Get any more information, go to www.elitelcdtv.com. Any questions at all for me?